cause number CV2203055 in the interest of Woods for a permanency hearing. Can I get announcements for the record, please?
Jennifer Broughton for the department and to engage.
Haley Smith, permanency case manager with to engage.
Crystal Gillette, to engage permanency supervisor.
Patrick Harrod, I'm the attorney for the mom. Julie Alvarado, Ms. Alvarado, you're present. Will you please announce yourself?
Yes, I am Julie Alvarado, the mother of Ian and Jaden.
I'm Emily Miller. I represent the dad, Danny Woods. Danny, if you could please introduce yourself and take your cap off.
Oh, sorry about that. Sorry, I got more in here. My name is Danny Woods. I'm the father of Ian and Jaden.
I'm Chelsea Timmons. I'm the attorney ad litem for the boys in this case.
All right, then we have a couple of other folks, Stacy and Victoria Hernandez.
Hi, we're Stacy and Victoria Hernandez. We're the foster moms of Ian and Jaden.
Thank you. And then Ms. Ava.
Yes, ma'am. I'm Terry Guerrero, the grandmother of Ian and Jaden, maternal grandmother of Ian and Jaden Woods.
Can I have all of my witnesses raise your right hand, please? Do you and each of you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
I do, Your Honor.
I do.
All right, they have indicated they would. Ms. Broughton, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll call Ms. Smith. Ms. Smith, you prepared a permanency report in preparation of today's hearing. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, that is correct.
And that was filed on August 15th. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, both parents have been served by personal service in this case, and that happened on March 7th. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, that is correct.
And tell me, let's start with the children. Can you tell me where they are placed?
They are placed in a foster home here in Brownwood.
And can you tell me how each of them are doing in this home?
We'll start with Ian. He's the oldest and he's doing super well. He just started pre-K at Woodland Heights, which he was very excited and nervous at the same time. We were able, his parents were able to go to his first day of school as well as meet the teachers. So he was extremely happy about that. It made him feel a little more comfortable. So we were excited that the foster parents coordinated with them to make that happen. Overall, he's done really well. He had a few behaviors on Tuesday after a visit with grandma, but other than that, he's done extremely great. He participates in therapy, and he loves his therapist very much. So he gets a little one-on-one time there, and he participates very well.
And tell me about how the other child is doing.
Jaden, he's also doing very well. He just got bumped up to the pre-K class at his daycare, and that's the class that Ian was in. So we're excited about that and thankful that he got moved up to that class. Overall, he's doing extremely well. The foster parents talked to the therapist in regards to him having therapy, but the therapist doesn't believe he is ready for therapy at this time. Jaden at times just doesn't show a lot of emotions and can be overstimulated quickly. And so the therapist is recommending that he be evaluated by his pediatrician just to make sure his cognitive learning is on target. We don't believe there's anything wrong. We just want to make sure if there's other services that we can help him, that we make sure we get those done.
And are they able to engage in normal activities for boys of their age while they're in this foster home?
They are. They actually just started soccer, which the parents are very excited about. The foster parents and the parents coordinated that as well, and they bought all their soccer stuff, and they are going to be able to attend all their games. So they're really looking forward to soccer.
And so it sounds like the foster family and the parents have a good working relationship going on as it relates to these boys. Is that fair to say?
They are doing extremely well. And getting to know the parents and really just wrapping their arms around them and trying to help them, move forward, which is great.
And tell me how mom is doing on her service plan.
Julie is doing very well. She's a go-getter. She is a go-getter. She works extremely hard at her job. She works a lot of hours. She's a provider. She has not completed parenting, but she is working on that. She also has not completed the 10 hours that Judge Watkins ordered. She did complete 1.5 TBRI trainings, and that was in person. So we were very thankful that her and Danny went to that in person. As CASA put that on. She does have stable housing. Her housing is very appropriate. The room is set up for both boys. She has completed her psychological. She is following the recommendations. And as far as her outpatient, she got a slow start on her winter circle, but she is attending the winter circle on Mondays. We moved visits for the kids because we did have them on Mondays to help them be able to attend that. She wasn't too excited, but once they attended, they both let me know that they really like that support group and feel that could be a support for them in the long run. Julie also had a hair follicle, and that was in July, and her hair was negative. We're extremely proud of her for that, and I was extremely happy to be able to tell her that. So she is making progress, a huge progress as far as her drug use. She also attends outpatient counseling for therapy, her drug counseling with Diane Stratton at MHMR. So that's a big support as well. And she participates very well in her individual counseling with Debbie Marlin.
And tell me about Dad and his progress on his service plan.
Dad also has decided to hit the ground running, which I'm very proud of Dad as well. He has not completing his parenting or the TBRI from Judge Watkins, but he has enrolled in anger management, and that is a big deal for Dad. And that's a big progress for Dad. So that's great that he did do that. He's attending that, I believe, on Thursdays. He is also attending the winter circle. Again, he wasn't too excited about it, but once he went, he did send me a message and just thanked me for pushing him to do that, because he thought that was a very good support group for him, and he hoped to continue that even after we were out of the case. I know Dad's hair follicle on 7/22 was still positive. However, his levels were extremely low. There was no methamphetamines, and the marijuana level was 1.5. And I think that's a huge deal for Dad, and we're very proud of him for that as well. He's very supportive of his boys. He always wants them to have the nicest things. He always wants to know what they need. He's supplied money for haircuts, even though he knows he doesn't have to do that. He felt he wanted to do that. And they've bought them several pairs of shoes, got everything for them for soccer. So they're really involved, and I couldn't be more proud of their progress.
Now tell me what the plan is at this time.
It's family reunification. Obviously, as you heard, the parents are doing great. I hope in a month or two, if the parents continue to do well, we would really like to incorporate maybe them have some role play and role modeling in a house setting with the foster parents. And then if that goes well, kind of move towards unsupervised. As long as their drug screens continue to do well, like I said, we're still looking at several months, but the parents have made extremely good progress.
And what is the concurrent plan?
Alternate family relative kinship adoption.
Okay. And at this point, what else are we needing to see from the parents moving forward before you would feel it's safe to return the children?
We need to continue to see them make progress in their individual therapy, continue their outpatient services, because I'm really looking more for long-term for the parents and not just right now, because they, Miss Julie did that before. And I just want to make sure that in the long term, we have them everything that they need. So just continue with that outpatient Center for Life Resources and continue to do great on their drug testing. And we do, we want to see them continue to do the TBRI training as well as their parenting.
And now let me ask some questions about grandmother, Miss Guerrero. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, previously you were ordered to provide therapy services to grandmother in the prior order. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. That's correct.
And have you been providing those services to her?
Yes, ma'am. She was referred to individual counseling.
And you were also ordered to facilitate supervised visits between the children and grandmother. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. That is correct.
And can you tell me how those visits have been going?
The visits, they do go okay. There was a pause in the visits because we were making up parents because Ian did test positive for COVID. So we were doing some back-to-back visits to get those in for the parents. You know, we even had people working on Saturday to make those happen. So there was a little bit of several weeks lapse in grandma's visits. She did visit on Monday, and Ian had a really rough day at school. He threw his shoes. He got his color changed and had a little note sent home. And prior to that, he hasn't had any, I should say, any behaviors. I mean, he does very well with mom and dad. And I will add that mom and dad's visits have been way more extremely positive, and they have been more receptive to me as well. So that, I mean, that's great.
And when you say the parents have been more positive and receptive to you, is that a change that you've noticed since they haven't been doing visits with the grandma?
Yes, ma'am.
And I guess what I'm asking is, have you noticed a drastic change in the direction that this case is going now that they've been doing things on their own apart from grandma?
I do. And they are even more receptive to the foster parents and as well as me. And so that, you know, their positivity has gotten a lot better, which makes it easier for them and easier for everybody to get, you know, to continue to move forward.
And have you noticed any changes in the kids' attitudes or demeanor as well?
There is no behaviors after the parents. They extremely love coming to see their parents, and after their visits, there's no issues.
So the only issues are happening after visits with grandma. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, ma'am, in regards to Ian.
And so if the court continues to have those visits in place, of course, that's what you will follow. But for today's purposes, do you think it would be in the kid's best interest to continue those supervised visits with grandmother, or do you feel like it might be best to lessen those?
I know the therapist did not believe it was best for Ian until he was able to understand everything that was going on. I do think they love their grandma, but it is hurt. It's hard on them, and it's hard on the foster parents whenever they do. Ian comes home and has issues, and then now it's affecting his school.
And certainly all signs at this point are pointing to these kids eventually being on a monitored return with their parents in the future. Is that the direction as it seems right now? Is that fair to say?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
And is there anything preventing grandma from being able to attend the boys' soccer games and things like that are happening?
Absolutely not. We just ask that she be positive and support the boys and support the parents. That's it. But no, we hope that she does attend their outings.
And so for what we're asking for today, are you asking that the current placement be approved and continued?
Yes, ma'am.
And it would be your plan to start ramping up visits eventually to unsupervised and just start moving that direction based on the parents' progress. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think, like I said, we still may be a little bit from several months from unsupervised, but yeah, I would like to increase. And like I said, maybe with the foster parents, continue to support them, because I want them to be successful. And I think that the foster parents would be a very good team for them.
Okay. I'll pass the witness, Judge. Thank you.
Mr. Howard, questions?
Just a few. Ms. Smith, it sounds like to me that you couldn't be happier with the parents' progress, at least from the last hearing. Is that true?
I will say the parents have done very well. Their attitudes, as far as Julie has, you know, and I say Julie because she's your client, but her attitude is a lot better, and she's been way more receptive. And so we've been able to sit down and talk at the table and talk about their services. And so that, you know, that's been a great help on everybody's end.
Okay. And I guess part of the credit to that goes to the counseling and therapy that she's doing with both her counselors.
That's correct. And I do speak with Debbie quite often, and Julie has a good relationship with her. So that has also gone a long ways.
And obviously the testing clean.
Yes, we're very proud of her for that.
And I think you said this, but let me make sure. The parents are available and are appropriate to go to extracurricular events, the school, the soccer, those type of things.
Yes, we feel comfortable with that.
Okay, and I think that you arranged maybe for them to get together on the first day of school and take a picture. Is that right?
That is
Mhm.
correct.
Okay, thank you for that. And so you said something really early that the mom was a go-getter. Um, Mom works an awful lot, doesn't she?
She does work a lot.
She has a lot of balls in the air. She's still on probation, right?
Yes, but she's getting close to being off that.
Right. And part of being close to getting off that is to catch up on her fees, and she's been paying those.
That's correct.
Okay. And so it sounds like to me what you're saying is the parents just need to continue making the progress that they're making, get these parenting classes and this TBRI training done.
That's correct.
The TBR training, have you made any referrals or notified the parents of any resources where they can get that additional TBRI training?
Yes, yes, sir. Judge Watkins provided us some resources, and I did print those off and relay those to the parents.
Okay. Have you talked to Miss Marlin about potentially incorporating some of that training into her counseling sessions?
I haven't, but I can do that if that's something that you would like.
Okay. And you talked about visits. I think you said, in your opinion, we're a little bit away from unsupervised visits, but are we able at this point to increase supervised visits?
We did recently increase them to 2 hours. Like I said, I really hope that we are able to incorporate the foster parents pretty soon, and maybe that will give some more time for them to be able to have longer visits. And we are trying to be creative as far as like they're going to their school stuff, their soccer stuff, so that they do get extra time with their kids.
And it sounds like the foster parents are open and able to assist these parents. They're willing to do that.
They are willing to do that.
Okay, well, that sounds great. I don't think I have any other questions. Thank you.
Thank
I'll pass the
you.
witness.
Ms. Smith, you said 2 hours. How many times a week?
Once a week.
Ms. Miller, any questions?
I do, Your Honor. I'll just follow up briefly on what's already been asked by Ms. Broughton and Mr. Howard. And my voice is shot, so I'm sorry that it's kind of shaky. Ms. Smith, I think I heard you say that it might be several months before unsupervised visitation takes place. Is that correct?
Yeah, and like I said, I don't know a timeline. That was, like I said, I would like to increase a little more before we move to unsupervised.
Okay, all right, because I think that they've had 3 of the 2 hour the 3 of the longer visitation chunks. Is that correct?
What do
3
you?
of the 2 hour visits, is that accurate?
Yes, they have 2 hour visits weekly.
Okay, all right. And so you had mentioned that they can go to the school activities and do things outside of that 2 hour period. Is that accurate?
Yes, ma'am, that is.
Okay. And so how many more of those 2 hour, do you want to increase the duration to maybe 4 hours supervised, or, at what point do you want to go to unsupervised? Would you feel comfortable with that?
I would like to see them make a little more progress as far as their parenting and the TBRI training that was ordered, because I do know when Danny attended the in-person TBRI training, it said he reported to me it really opened his eyes. So I think that would be a really good benefit for them. So I'd really like to see them engage in that and really take that on. And just continue to do well in therapy. I would like to get recommendations from both of their therapists. They have the same therapist before we move forward with that.
Okay. Well, this case doesn't close until March, I believe. And then we have another permanency hearing in December. I've kind of got in my mind, maybe we could do some step ups between now and December. If I said September, I'm incorrect. That we have another permanency hearing in December. I kind of have in my mind, I'm hoping that maybe if things go well between now and December, they continue to go great, that maybe we could look at a monitored return over the Christmas break.
If the parent, that'd definitely be something I'd have to stab with my supervisor. I do extremely think that is heading in this direction, and it could happen sooner than later.
Okay, perfect. And I know I'm kind of getting out over my skis on that one, but maybe if we could do an increase in visits to unsupervised during September, October, November, is that something that that you could look at and that we could look at as a team?
Yeah, we can look at that as a team. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good deal. Thank you so much. No further questions.
Well, I started to ask if Ms. Timmons had questions and she literally just fell off the call. There we go. We'll wait for a minute to get back in. All right, Ms. Timmons, we were up to you. Do you have any questions for this witness?
I do not. Thank you, Your Honor. And I'm sorry, I'm not sure what happened. I just switched over to my cell phone.
Miss Broughton, any further questions for this witness?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Howard, any witnesses or a statement on behalf of your client?
I was muted. Just in the interest of time, I think what I'll say after talking to my client is I think that she is working really hard. I think she's working hard on her service plan. I think she's working hard for herself. I think she's working hard at work. I think she's working most importantly hard for her kids in her relationship with Mr. Woods. I don't think that not having the parenting classes done or the TBRI training is effect on her progress or her commitment to this case. I just think it's one of those things she's got to get done with multiple things that she's getting done. I can tell you that in my discussion with her yesterday, I provided her some TBRI resources. I think at least another 2-hour class I found online that would be pretty easy for them to do. And she may have already done that. But also, if Miss Marlin is certified and she's able to counsel on that, I think that would be the best TBRI training right there. And so I'd ask that the department look into that. But besides that, I think mom is okay with the timeline here, and I think she's proud of herself, and I think she should be. She just needs to continue. Sometimes it gets harder rather than easier.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Miller, any witnesses or statement on behalf of your client?
I have no witnesses. I'll just purport on behalf of Danny how well things are going in this case. We certainly appreciate all the access and being included in the kids' activities. Danny's making a lot of progress as far as the therapy goes, as Ms. Smith mentioned. And we've just had a great turnaround in this case. And we're just looking forward to continuing to progress and excel and only good things.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Ms. Timmons.
Thank you, Your Honor. The boys are doing great. They love and miss their parents, but they, that's a really good relationship that's continuing on at this point in time. And so I think that everything that's going on is the right things. And so I would propose status quo as far as placement and visitation and the way that that's all going. I do think that, the parents are doing well, and that, as Ms. Smith stated earlier, looking forward to that progression for them. But I think everything that she has proposed is appropriate in this case. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. I will find that the court has jurisdiction to hear the case, and the following orders are in the best interest of the children. I am super happy to hear that you got something out of the TBRI class, and that it seems to have helped in relationship building, and to have foster parents who are supportive of biological parents is key in helping families move forward. So thank you to the Hernandezes for supporting that relationship between the parents and their boys. That's going to be necessary moving forward. So I'm happy to hear the trajectory of this case. And Ms. Alvarado, the court is very proud of you for coming up negative on your last hair follicle test. That is a huge accomplishment. So feel very proud of yourself, because I do. And Mr. Woods, you're so close that I know that you'll be there next time, and your progress has been amazing too. So thank you both for engaging on behalf of your kiddos, because they need you to do that. I will ask that Ms. Smith check with Ms. Marlin about incorporating some of the TBRI into the counseling session. I don't see why it couldn't be incorporated 15-30 minutes of the session to try to get up to that 10 hours. It does sound like that it is a productive effort on the part of the parents in understanding kind of how we all got into this situation. So I'm glad to hear that that's continuing. As much as I support and believe that Ms. Nava should continue to have contact with her grandsons, I'm not going to order the visitation any longer because I'm going to switch up the visitation with regard to the parents and give them more time. And you can only cram so much into a 3- and 4-year-old's day. So in order not to overload the boys, I hope, Ms. Nava, you'll take advantage of going to soccer games and school days you can attend so that you can get your visits in. But I'm going to order that the parents, as long as they continue on this trajectory and are testing negative, that in September, we increase their visits to 2 hours, 2 times a week. So that's a total of 4 hours in a week. And if it needs to be 1 hour here and 3 hours here, however, they need to break that up to accommodate and can help with all the schedules. And then in October, we'll increase it to 6 hours a week to be worked out between the placement and the parents. In November, I would like to add, so in addition to the 6 hours a week supervised, 2 hours a week unsupervised.
Yes.
And then assuming all of that goes well, then there will be a Thanksgiving visit that'll be a whole day.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my God.
Praise
Oh,
God.
thank you. Oh my God, that's amazing.
Well, this is what happens when you work hard on behalf of your kiddos. So you guys have
Thank
earned it.
God.
Our next hearing will be December the 15th at 9 a.m. for a permanency hearing and a pretrial. At that point, we will have had our Thanksgiving visit. We'll be into some unsupervised. So if all is going the same way that it's been going in the upward trajectory, we should be looking at a monitor return potentially at that hearing. So consistency over the next 3 months is going to be important.
Yes, thank God.
We'll be looking at that on December the 15th at 9 a.m. Ms. Smith, do you need me to repeat any of that visitation schedule?
Your Honor, I just wanted to make sure I heard it right. In November, 2 hours unsupervised plus the 6 hours supervised. Is this correct?
Yes.
Okay, that's the only question I had, Your Honor.
And all of that can be negotiated between the foster parents and the parents, including the attorneys, to make sure that we're not overloading the children, overlapping in therapy, those kinds of things. We want to make sure that the kids are adjusting to it as well. Any questions or clarifications, Ms. Broughton?
And the only thing I would ask, Judge, is in the hopefully very unlikely event that anything drastic happens where we have any backtracking on behalf of the parents' progress and we need to request a hearing to discuss the visitation, I assume we would have the option to do that, to file a motion with the court.
What I will do is say that if either parent tests positive for a new use or a relapse, which relapse is part of recovery, I say that all the time. So it wouldn't be the end of the world, but we will go back to the 2 hours of supervised visitation a week until we can come back to a hearing.
Perfect.
So there'll be a reversion provision if there's a new positive test.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Any questions or clarifications now, Mr. Howard?
None. Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Miller?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I don't have anything further. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Timmons.
No, thank you, Your Honor.
All right. I'll make all the other findings necessary for the permanency hearing. The current placement is safe and appropriate, and I will see everybody on the 15th and look forward to hearing about the great progress.